Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Finally, I've got a craft room and I'm back. So for those that don't know, we moved house and it's been a lot. Let's just say that. So finally I've got a craft room and this is my first thing I've made in the craft room, which is a pop-up Christmas tree, and it's got beautiful amount of dimension. It does fold pretty flat for posting, so quite a good one there. I've done this in a 6" by 4" card, but you can adapt the tree, adapt the sizes of the paper. I'm just going to show you how to get the tree together. My channel's all about the know-how for those of you that haven't watched me before. So let's get started and show you how to do this one then. Okay, so what you need first of all is you're going to need some papers. So this is the card blank, so I just kept it in there so I wouldn't lose everything. Now what you need is 5 of each of the sizes. So this one is 2" high this way by 3" wide. This one is 2.5, so they're going up ½ increments. Okay, so you can do this in centimeters, just convert it. So 2 high by 3 wide, 2.5 high by 3.5 wide, 3 high by 4 wide, and you need 5 of each. Now the one thing you need to realise is if there's a pattern, you need to make sure you're keeping the pattern up the right way when you do this, and I'll show you how to do that. Now these are all the little ones that I've already cut out. The other thing you'll need is a strip about 3 inches. I don't think this one quite is, but ½ fold. Now the easiest way to fold a ½ piece of paper in half is not to fold a ½ paper in half, if you know what I mean. So what I'll do is I'll show you. So I just turn up a bit like that, any size as long as it's more than 1/4 inch, put that on my trimmer, and then I cut 1/4 inch, open it up, and you've got ½ inch. Much easier way to do it. Otherwise you're fiddling around with ½ inch trying to fold it. Not easy. You can do it, but why bother? So I've already cut all of these other pieces out and I've made a right old mess of them, so we'll be trying to find those in a minute. This is a pot. Now on my pot in my green tree I had double-sided paper, so I folded it over. Now I'm not showing you this demo in double-sided paper on purpose, because when I fold the paper you're not going to see where I'm marking it and things like that because it's quite dark. So I've opted for smaller paper. Now the pot size is up to you. This one I've done 2.5 by 1 1/4, and we'll be cutting that down anyway. So that's just what I've done there. So what you need to do, so you've got your 3 sizes of tree, and you need to make sure the paper is folded in the right way. Now I always tend to keep the fold at me, so you're going to fold it in half, so widthways even in half, and nice score line, and make sure, open it up, yeah, that's good. Next size, no particular pattern, so just fold it in half any which way up, keeping the fold still towards me. Next one, trees. So I'm going to keep the fold towards me, so you're making like a little card of its own. So if you open it up, the trees are that way. If you turn it around, you can do it wrong, because if you turn it around the trees will be upside down. So make sure it's around the right way. Now the best thing to do when you're happy that everything's around the right way is then mark them. Okay, now you're going to mark all of them. I've been cutting mine with scissors and a little craft knife, but you can do it. I'm going to use pen. Don't use pen, use pencil, but it's just so it makes it a little bit easier for you guys to see at home. So just ½ inch mark there, and we're just going to do that on all 3. And you would do this for all of the pieces of paper. You will mark ½ inch up from the bottom on the fold line for all of these. And just that last little one there. Okay, so now it's up to you. I will draw on this so that you can see what I'm going to do. I'm going to go from the fold line down to that bottom corner, and I'll draw a line. So you can draw a line with pencil and then cut it out, or you can do what I do and use a craft knife. So you've still got your fold on the left, all facing you. That's the only ways I work with it. And then point to point, we're going to do another line. And this just gives the tree a nice shape. I have got a demo, which is a gatefold card with a Christmas tree and presents in. Now, the the tree is not shaped like this, so you can use that option if you like, and I'll link that in the description. So that's what you do with that, and then you can go ahead and cut out with your scissors and things like that. But if you don't use scissors and you want to use a craft knife, I've got a couple of tips for you. This bit is the bit you're going to keep with the fold in it. Always cover the good bit with the ruler. So never have your craft knife on the other side, because craft knives will split. So like if you go like that all wonky and cut it, then you're not going to be cutting the good part of your Christmas tree. I mean, it's only a bit of paper if you do it, don't worry. But, you know, to save the hassle, and then we're going to go point to point on this one. So you can see that's one of them. Did you see that I didn't do what I told you to do? But, you know, it's one of those things, isn't it? Do as I do, do as I say. Do as I say, not as I do. So cover the good bit, point to point, like that. Take that off. And then cover the good bit, because I didn't last time. Well aware, naughty girl. Point to point. So this is the good bit because it's got the fold in. That's why I'm calling it the good bit, because this is waste. Or use it elsewhere decorating the card. So those bits go away. So we've got this lovely little shape now for the bottom. I've made a mess and I should have got rid of all the little pieces. Got a shape there. There's the one I did. It's got the black line on it. There's the next one. And then the third one. Just more of the same. Cover up the good bit. Good bit. Slice that off. Cover up the good bit. There you go. I like to go from the fold to the points wherever possible, because if you go the other way, you are going to, like, those corners down here haven't got as much strength. You can see that's a bit wonky, so I'll just snip that with some scissors. Like that. So, I've cut all the other ones out because basically you're just going to do the same for everything else. Just going to get rid of the rubbish, because otherwise it could get confusing and I could end up throwing bits away I don't want. We'll keep it there in case it's not rubbish. That looks like rubbish. And that looks like rubbish. So now, putting it together. Always start with the smallest one. Okay? Turn it upside down and we're going to mark. Now we're only going to mark this once. So we're going to do a 3/4 of an inch mark down from the top point. We're just going to mark 3/4 of an inch on the small one and the medium one, no others. Look at that wonky donkey cutting. It might be alright if I've gone point to point. It's alright. Probably the pen is a bit thick. I wanted you guys to be able to see it. So I can check, because these are, you want them to all be the same size. So if I put that one over there, I can see that, I can still see that line. So I do think that actually needs to come off a little bit more. So cover up the good bit again and cut away that little surplus bit there. Oh, that's a satisfying sound, wasn't it? There you go, one more time. So we'll just make that a little bit better so they're all a bit more uniform, because obviously I've cut all the others out and it needs to be the same. It's quite important to make it work. So find a line on your mat. Let me make sure you can see exactly what I'm doing. So we'll go with this line. And if you put the point to that line and the next point, and sorry, the bottom, teeth in, so there and there, get that level, and then that'll be a lot easier for you to do. Now, where the dot is for the 3/4 mark, you sort of follow down diagonally like that, put some glue on there. That's way too much glue, but never mind. And we'll pop that over the top. And again, because we've got the seam rolling down and we've got a line to guide us, we can make sure that they're all on par with each other. And then again, this one, we can see that it's going to go something like that using the outside edges, and then pop the final one on at the 3/4 of an inch point that we marked and get that to be level so that the point comes there. Okay, now we're going to use these now as a template for everything else. So was that 3/4 of an inch? Because I don't know, it don't look like it was. No, it come down a little bit more. So I'll pull it down if it let me. Just looked a bit off to me. Me eye. So So now I'm going to fold them in half, and I really want to check before they dry that we can get a good point to point on these. And you see that one's going off, that's because it's a little bit wonky on the gluing. So if we can shift it now, we will, but if we can't, we won't force it, we'll just go with it. And that's going to be the first one that goes onto the card inside. So there we go. So that's first stage, and now second stage is getting all of the next bits. So with this, we started with the top last time. This time we're going to start with the bottom. Okay, so we can glue all of this bottom piece here, and you will spend more time smearing out your glue like this to the corners and the edges. I'm not going to, just for speed. And then we pop that onto there like that. And it's important that we try and get these to line up, and then fold it over and make sure it's in a good place, point to point. Like I say, that one's going to go against the card, so you can see this one needs to be more lined up with this triangle than anything else. So pop that on there, and then we go to the next one so we can see where it's got to go. And with this one we can just glue that half. It's going to go on there like this. So you open it up, get point to point like that, and then make sure that the points match. And when that one comes over, it'll probably push it out of the way a little bit, so readjust the papers, push it down, and then we can glue that little bit, that side, onto there. So now these two are glued together, so we've already got the shape of two coming. Finally, do the same thing, so open it back up. Always remember to open it back up. Turn this one around, pop your glue on the back of the side you're working on, put that one down there, point to point. It's quite simple, isn't it? And then a little bit of glue on here and fold it in half. Make sure they meet. Okay, same again. Open it up. Open up your piece rather. Put glue on the back of that one and lay it over. Make sure in the point. Make sure in. Here she goes. Already making up words. Make sure in your points are together. Get your next one. Put a bit of glue on this. Like I say, smear it out because it'll take ages to dry being thick like that. Line up your points and then get the top over as best you can. You can trim these down at the end, but you don't want to have a lot to trim. If you've got a lot to trim, then it will change the shape of the tree quite drastically. So, you know, the more you can spend now trying to line them up, and these do push out. They are annoying because they do want to push each other out. Now, I tried to do this many ways, trust me, and this is the best way for getting them to line up. So that's why I went with it for the demo. I tried several ways, like laying them all down, making them all individually, but definitely this is the way to go. So point to point, that one's off. You can see that I slipped it because the glue wasn't dry. Make sure the points line up. A little bit of glue on the bit that's missing, and fold it over and make sure all these points as best you can line up. As long as they line up with the next one, it's not so important. As long as the ones that are meeting paper to paper line up better. You see there's a bit of white on there. We can trim that off at the end. That's not a problem, okay? So you can see it's all coming together now, so we haven't got very many to do. I'll pause it actually and I'll finish them and come back. Right, all glued. Still wet, to be honest. But you can see now that we've stacked up 5, so it looks like that. And that one you can see is a little bit off, but don't worry about it, because what I've done with the card blank is I've put a little bit of an 1/8 of an inch fold there, so that it will take the slack of anything, you know, like that. So it's all accounted for. So let's open it up and have a look. So make sure we've glued them all. Now that one was pretty shocking, Sarah. So there's one that's pretty shocking. The rest aren't too bad actually. I don't mind them, but Where's the shocking one gone? There. You see that? Look, it's only where I've shifted it all over, so you can see there's too much white line there. So we just go in. Now, if you use tiny little scissors, these were actually embroidery scissors, it's a lot easier because they cut to the point. So you can just go right to that point and then you won't notice anything odd about it. And it won't look weird because when the card's open, the tree flares out. And when the card's shut, no one can see anything. So that's how that goes together, like that. And you should let it dry because they could stick together. So you've got 5. So the middle one is where the centre is. So if you open up the middle and turn it over, and then we can add our trunk, which is that 1/2 inch folded in half. Now, it does take quite a lot of strain, so you can make these a bit longer than what I've made if you want, and it doesn't matter how far they go up the tree, etc. But I think just to give it strength, I'm going to actually fold it in half. It depends on the thickness of your paper as well, obviously, you know. So what we'll do is we'll fold that in half and then fold it back in half again, like that. So we've only got a little trunk to work with, but it's okay because it's only just got to go on there. So with the fold facing up in the air towards you, just put a bit of glue on the end, and this is a really short trunk. I should have bothered to make another one, but I didn't, did I? And then just shut that. And again, you can use your guidance down the centre to get it level, or you can just do it by eye, really. It's going to go in the centre of the card. It's got no choice. Now, just before it dries, just open it up and wrap it around there, because you'll see it's bulking around that bit there. So it's not flush like that bit is. It'd be fatter around there than it is around there. So open it back up, and the pot will go on the front. Now, if you've got some smart papers that have got ones that look like they've got a border in, you've got no thickness. But if you've got a paper and you want to put a border in, just cut a strip out and put it on top, and then fold it together. So we're going to fold it in again, just like we did everything else, making sure it's up the right way. And then we're just going to cut a shape. Now, I want to know where that black line is, because I think it'd look nice to have just a little bit of pot there. So I'm going to trim that so I can see it. So I can see there is where the border is on that pot. And then I'm not going to touch anything at the bottom, but I'm going to come around, and it's really up to you how you cut your pot. It can be steep, it can be non-steep, it can not have a border at the top, anything you want, or no pot, you know, optional pot. So there you go. You can look at that, put it on your tree and think, that's too big. Actually, I do think that is a little bit too big for the tree. I'm going to make it a little less wide. So what I'll do is just follow that up and then do that bit again. Hopefully I'm in the right sort of place, and come round again and open it up. So just a bit of trial and error, and you can see if you like it. So there we go. That's the pot on there. So we can see if we like it or not. Now, just check, because you want to make sure that your tree, depending on the size of cards that you're using, you want to make sure that the pot adheres to the back, so it's not going to get in the way of this movement anyway, okay? So don't worry about that. So just make sure that you're putting your pot, because this is quite a tall tree. I think I made it taller than the other for some reason. What was that voice? So we're just going to fold that in half. And then I'll put a bit of glue on this side. And then just fold it over like that so I can work out where it's going. Got the tree down the centre. And then we need to glue the other side as well to the trunk. So that's as easy as it is, guys. And then it's obviously up to you how you're going to decorate your card on the inside and put it in. So to pop it into the card, you're going to fold it in half. Ideally, you need all glue to be dry. And we've got this little bit that we can butt up to, okay? So we've got that little bit there that it can literally sit in like this. So let it go snug into that. So you've got 2 score lines. And then you're just going to add glue to one side. And make sure you only go on these white bits, not on any of the other bits of the tree, because they will stick, obviously. And if you put too much glue on, like I am, and don't spread it out, there's a chance it will squash through, and yeah. But we're going to go with it. So I'm just going to fold over the front. Now I always decorate my cards at the end. So I'm just going to make sure it's pushed up as far as it can go, like that. I always decorate my cards at the end because you see it's gone in all right, but I'm just going to adjust it quick. This glue dries so fast. It's very good glue, but not when you don't want it to dry fast. Adjust it a little bit and then just rub it down. And then we will put the glue on this side and do the same thing. Pull the card over to the tree, not the other way around. So glue on and close the card and rub it down. And you really need to wait for that to dry, but we all know how impatient I am. So you can see the pot didn't stick yet. Just make sure these sections are not sticky. See, there's a bit of glue there. You don't want that to get on any of the other branches. I'm just going to go in with that again. Just close it back up. I think I pulled the pot too close. Let's go this way. Yeah, push the pot a little bit too close into that. That's better. Give it a rub both sides. So this is why I don't like decorating it first, because you've got a little crease in there now where I was messing about. So now you can cover that with your foil mirror. You can also cut any size down. I would, you know, trim your card, etc., because I wasn't really sure what size this was going to come out, so I just made the card accordingly. And you can see there we've got a little bit of stickiness together, so just get it all working, let it dry before you decorate. Still the pot is not glued. If I've not got any glue on that pot, probably haven't got enough glue on the pot. Bear with, going again. That's better. Right. So you can see you've got a lovely pop-up tree there. Really pretty. And there's loads of colours you can use. You can use scraps of paper, you could do multicolour, you could do it all the same. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.